GCR, update as of October 5, 2023. Judy note, the FEMA emergency broadcast system test on Wednesday 4th of October. At 2:20 EST that was expected to emanate dangerous frequencies and attack our phones, TVs, and Wi-Fi technology, turned out to be a presidential message put out on the new Starlink satellite system, showing that the military alliance white hats were still in charge. They had a plan. Wednesday 4th of October. Red October Intel, Donald Trump has a big, strong message. The U.S. is getting ready to go military tribulations. Major General Paul Eaton have warned of civil war in 2024. Wednesday 4th of October. Gitmo update, Guantanamo Bay detention camp arrests, indictments and executions for thousands of new ex-elite prisoners. Wednesday 4th of October. Philintel breaking news. Was Katie Hobbs taken to Gitmo? White hats controlling EBS. Wednesday 4th of October. Behind the throne. The power dynamics of the Commander-in-Chief. A closer look at DJT's presidency and the military chain of command. Wednesday 4th of October. The event, United States under military control, the hidden web of COG and military operations. Everything was connected. Traditionally U.S. taxpayer dollars have been laundered through the CIA black budget to fund the Satan-worshipping, including the Chinese Communist Party, which was steadily working on a long-term plan to take over the U.S. In 1823 the Rothschilds took over all financial operations of the Catholic Church. In 1913 the Rothschilds were behind the private banker ownership of what was to become the U.S. Federal Reserve and IRS, which collected and laundered U.S. taxpayer monies through the CIA black budget to certain politicians in U.S. Incorporated, who turned it over to the Crown of England in London and the Vatican Bank, and then on to their central banks across the world. The Rothschilds financed the New World Order UN, or cabal, U.S. Incorporated, City of London, Vatican, whose members claimed to gain their power through worshipping Satan. Wake-up call, Big Pharma said that China, Chinese Communist Party or CCP, which was behind the New World Order plan to depopulate the world. Hitler's Fourth Reich was behind the mind control CIA MK-Ultra program that called for the torture and killing of thousands of U.S. and Canadian children as subjects of their human experiments. Trump declassified the JFK files that showed that after World War II, Adolf Hitler and the Fourth Reich survived in Argentina until 2021, having faked his suicide death after being saved by operatives of what was to become the. A few years ago Ukraine was taken over by Hitler's Nazi Germany. Where did the Trump's dossier come from? Ukraine. Where did the Clinton Foundation get its millions of donations? Ukraine. Where did Hunter Biden get paid millions? Ukraine. Where does Biden have property? Ukraine. Where does Soros have property? Ukraine. Who launders money? The CIA, Ukraine and Soros. Who doesn't tell the truth? The mainstream media. Who owns the mainstream media? Soros. Where does Soros get his money to pay the mainstream media to lie? U.S. taxpayer dollars laundered through Ukraine to the Satan-worshipping, child-sacrificing cabal run by the Rothschilds. All of which calls for a global currency reset and restored republics of the world. B Global Currency Reset, Wednesday 4th of October. The Quantum Financial System, QFS, the bedrock of the global currency reset, GCR, the endgame for fiat currency. Walking stick, an Iraqi citizen and bank owner, the tender for the currency and coins has been met per request, meaning, requirements, for release of the new Iraqi dinar exchange rate has been fulfilled. Wolverine, the funds have been released and placed on the quantum financial system. On Friday 22nd of September Iraq announced the new Iraqi dinar international rate as $11.90, that was on the back screens of the Forex and would rise in value to $13.20 or higher. On that same Friday 22nd of September the quantum financial system took over the global financial system. On Sunday evening 24th of September the QFS was activated, with all funds gold-backed. On Thursday 28th of September Iraq abolished the dollar in its currency auctions. Central Bank of Iraq on Thursday 28th of September a 10-day process began of an automatic increase in the value of the dinar, franc 26. On Friday 29th of September the HCL oil payments to Iraqi citizens was being paid with an in-country rate of $5+. Friday 29 Sept was a dramatic beginning of the stock market crash. The Chinese Communist Party defense minister, plus the CEO of the world's largest real estate company, the CCP's Evergrande, went missing, that halted Evergrande shares on a stock market that was already in free fall, any, or all of which could easily bring on a global financial crisis that would trigger a global currency reset. Sunday 1st of October was the first banking day of October in the Mideast and start of the new U.S. fiscal year. All banks were required to be on the gold/asset-backed quantum financial system rather than the old fiat currency SWIFT system by that Sunday 1st of October. On Sunday 1st of October, the Admiral converted payments from 20 of the top-tier T4A groups, out of 356 4A groups, from USD fiat to gold, USN/USTN with the support needed to start the T4 groups, 4A and 4B. At midnight on Sunday 1st of October, the World Court reviewed evidence and then signed a document giving evidence that they were beginning the RV/GCR. If funds were not released by midnight EST, Interpol would intervene to make arrests. Federal authorities and SOPs would also make arrests. This has to happen and the World Court's orders are a blessing in disguise. All major pools expect liquidity release to begin at midnight EST, but also confirmed information from their Hong Kong Prime Minister in Zurich that liquidity release was expected to begin midnight EST and onwards overnight. The Forex was down all Sunday evening 1st of October, and then came up Monday morning 2nd of October with all values set to zero. Monday 2nd of October Franc 26, all red high alert. On Monday 2nd of October the Iraqi WS Bank US branch was open for business. As the stock market reopened and sell-offs continued, Wolverine confirmed that some of the T4 holders had to be turned away on Monday 2nd of October when they tried at the last minute to renegotiate some of the payment contracts for higher exchange rates. They were told no and this caused things to slow down a bit, but the U.S. Treasury got things moving again fast, because of World Court arbitration to release the RV shotgun payment in full ASAP and because Trump and the Chinese also wanted it completed ASAP. 2s. 3rd of October in the last 24 hours PM T4A started in the process of preparing and paying T4 groups. 2s. 3rd of October was officially designated as the National Day of the Republic of Iraq to celebrate Iraqi freedom from the U.S. Incorporated. TNT Tony, Iraqi government salaries being paid a month in advance effective Wednesday 4th of October. On Wednesday 4th of October Iraq was welcomed to the World Trade Organization with a fully reinstated Iraqi dinar international traded currency. Wolverine, Shelton said on his call that the 10 days of darkness and 12 days of disclosures would start after an event on Wednesday 4th of October. See rumored timeline Judy note, intel received from a high-up source indicated that Tier 4B may not be notified until Friday 6th of October, with appointments starting the next day. By 2s. 10th of October the bulk of redemption appointments and exchanges were expected to be done. On Wednesday 11th of October, another possible EBS date with Biden removal, that would kick off a 4-month military action. The second week of October the restitution and reparation funds will be given out for seniors over 60 in a lump sum. For ages 50 to 60 they will be paid out over a 12-month period and ages 30 to 49 paid out over a 15-year period, Bruce. The end of October Sidney Powell has a date with the Supreme Court to present evidence on 2020 election fraud. On Wednesday 1st of November. It was the goal to have currency exchanges and ZIM bond redemptions completed. The Rodriguez Trust will administer universal basic income for citizens of all Jazzara-compliant countries. The amount per individual or family will depend on the status, needs, employment level and age of the person/family and will work to encourage people to work if they can. Help supplement other recipes as needed. He said we need to help our friends and family understand that this will happen in the next 3 to 6 months. In November Social Security will be paid out in much higher payments, Bruce. In January 2024 the SSR&R payments start on a monthly basis, Bruce. On January 1, 2024 the fiat US dollar will be worth nothing. Starting January 1, 2024 all currencies across the globe will be on par 1-to-1 with each other. Appointments, Wolverine, Tier 1 banks will send out notification emails containing a secure web link. The website will confirm that you are you and then give you a number to call the call center for an appointment. A confirmation code will be given to you when you call the call center. At 1:30 p.m. EST requests were sent to D4A/B to begin including notifications. This afternoon they finished sending USN/USTN bills to the banks, necessary to start. Judy note, as of Wednesday 4th of October evening, to my knowledge no emails had been received to begin the process of obtaining an appointment. USD, DoD and Trump know they are on a tight schedule with a world court ordering T4B notification emails and T4 liquidity payments. Fleeting interference has come from deep state politicians, bureaucrats and some bankers trying to delay emails. Interpol and National Police/Spec Ops are making arrests, while the DoD and USD continue to push for us to get started. Confirmed that anti-RV filibusters by, mostly Democratic, deep state politicians and bureaucrats, including Mnuchin, have been neutralized and that arrests of 2,200 or more filibusters are underway in the United States and 4 other countries. For security reasons, our military contact could not discuss the specific timing of our T4B notifications and access to 100% liquidity in T4 group accounts and SKR accounts because they both arrive at approximately the same time. Confirmed that Monday was the day that funds started moving and being accessed at lower tier levels and to start releasing payments for T4 and SKR groups into our T4B notifications anytime Monday to Tuesday. Confirmed that rates were updated on Friday morning. Rates were locked and the risk management release algorithm had been running since Friday morning. Confirmed that the rates will be updated from Sunday to Monday night, so if T4, 4A and ASIN 4B, will not launch successfully, based on the progress and launch algorithm, today, so they will use the update of Sun night rate for our T4B starts from Monday to Tuesday. He told us to celebrate that the shotgun has already begun to be finished. Shotgun startup is completing now. Keep an eye out for notifications. Security is very tight at your appointment, and one of the reasons they want us in and out of appointments within 20 minutes. There is a 3-day cancellation period where you can change your mind if you don't agree with the rates and terms of your initial redemption commitment. In those 3 days you can request different rates and terms, will be clarified in that consultation. eZIM redemption, Wolverine, ZIM note redemption was rumored to be 11 cents per ZIM. 80% of your ZIM payout goes to a structured payout annuity investment in humanitarian projects, with an annual interest payment on that 80%. 20% of your ZIM payout was for personal use. Example, if ZIM redemption is 3 cents on a 100D ZIM note equals $600 million for personal use. Example, if ZIM redemption is 50 cents for humanitarian projects, a 100D ZIM note would equal $10 trillion for the project. Judy note, I didn't understand any of the following by Wolverine, but I'm putting it in as given. In the first 90 days we will get up to 20% of the personal 20 part of the 80-20 split of the ZIM product. So 20% of the personal part 20 at 3 cents on a ZIM 100T note would be equivalent at $120 billion. At a rate of 50 cents, 20% of the personal portion 20 would be $2 trillion, at a rate of 1-to-1, 20% of the personal portion 20 would be $4 trillion. At the time of exchange 1% of your redemption will be put on a debit card. The other 99% will be managed by a trust company, Abbott Downing or equivalent, that works with you and for you. The standard trust company is the Abbott Downing Trust Company. You have 90 days to switch to another trust company if you don't like their service. F2s. 3rd of October Wolverine, GCR/RV update meeting October 1, 2023. Ready to go-RV/GCR update from Wolverine October 3, 2023, the 3 countries that disconnected from QFS that night and reconnected, all countries are ready to go. Security is very tight, this is one of the reasons they want us in and out of rescue appointments within 20 minutes. The Admiral converted payments from 20 of the top-tier T4A groups, out of 356 4A groups, from USD fiat to gold, USN/USTN with the support needed to start the T4 groups. 4A and 4B. The World Court ordered the return of evidence last night at midnight EST that they were beginning the liberation of RV/GCR and the World Court returned with a signed document around midnight EST. The tent tactic to get low ZIM rates didn't work, it was removed, he refused to say more about this. Since we can get higher rates of 11 cents 1-to-1 ZIM on repayment, he said the bankers will ask us to put 80% of our funds into a structured payout annuity investment, Level 3, under which the bank invests in humanitarian projects and pays him an annual interest payment on that 80%. Said they would tell us that 20% of the ZIM payment is for our personal use. He said the personal 20% of up to 3 cents on a ZIM 100T note would be $600 billion, at a rate of 50 cents for projects. The personal 20% would be $10 trillion, at a 1-to-1 ratio. He said yes, in the first 90 days we will get up to 20% of the personal 20 part of the 80-20 split of the ZIM product. So 20% of the personal part 20 at 3 cents on his M100T note would be equivalent at $120 billion. At a rate of 50 cents, 20% of the personal portion 20 would be $2 trillion, at a rate of 1 to 1, 20% of the personal portion 20 would be $4 trillion. Confirm that 1% will be on the debit/credit card at the time of exchange, redemption. 99% will be managed by a trust company, Abbott Downing or equivalent, that works with you and for you. Your information is that Tier 1 banks send notification emails containing a secure web link and a confirmation code that we will give you when we call the call centers. You said it would be clear when we receive the email notifications. You are confirming the lack of federal tax information. Said there is a 3-day cancellation period where we can return after agreeing to the rates and terms in the initial redemption commitment, and if we change our mind we can request different rates and terms, will be clarified in that consultation. Standard Abbott Downing Trust Company, 90 days to switch to another trust company if you don't like the service. Rodriguez Trust will administer universal basic income for citizens of all GCR-compliant countries. The amount per individual or family will depend on the status, needs, employment level and age of the person/family, and will work to encourage people to work if they can. Help supplement other recipes as needed. He said we need to help our friends and family understand that this will happen in the next 3 to 6 months. Confirmed that if funds are not released by midnight EST, Interpol will intervene to make arrests. And will cause federal authorities and SOPs to also make arrests. This has to happen, and the World Court's orders are a blessing in disguise. Confirmed that all major pools expect liquidity release to begin at midnight EST, but also confirmed information from their Hong Kong Prime Minister in Zurich that liquidity release is expected to begin between now, 10 a.m. EST, and midnight EST onwards overnight. Said that at 1:30 p.m. EST requests were sent to D4A/B to begin including notifications. Their information is that this afternoon they finished sending USN/USTN bills to the banks, necessary to start. And he said UST, DoD and Trump know they are on a tight schedule with the World Court ordering T4B notification emails and T4 liquidity payments. He said they are now advancing like an icebreaker against obstructionist obstacles, such as breaking up chunks of ice in the Arctic Circle, while fleeting interference comes from deep state politicians, bureaucrats and some bankers trying to delay emails. He said now Interpol and National Police/Spec Ops are making arrests, while the DoD and USD continue to push for us to get started. He said to keep an eye on notifications. He responded that he agrees with the Regina Hochmuth information you submitted and we sent him a message. GCR toward Republic, the National Guard has been deployed across the U.S. Wednesday 4th of October. World getting rid of dictatorships. H2s. 3rd of October Starlink launches V2 mini satellites with space lasers, on 2s. 3rd of October Starlink launches V2 mini satellites with space lasers. Data transfers between satellites in the constellation can now reach speeds of 100 gigabits per second without involving ground stations. Wednesday 4th of October. The FCC and FEMA plan nationwide emergency alert test at 2:20 EST- which goes off instead as a presidential message suspected from the Starlink satellite system. Links for above info, including tech CEOs etc. including Musk visiting China 2023. Data transfers between satellites in the constellation can now reach speeds of 100 gigabits per second without involving ground stations. The services also came in handy during emergencies, such as the violent earthquake in Tonga and the continued Russian aggression in Ukraine that began last year. Tech company CEOs visit China May 31, 2023. CEOs of some of America's biggest companies are in China this week to take the pulse of one of their top markets after the country reopened following nearly 3 years of pandemic restrictions. Elon Musk of Tesla, Laxman Narasimhan Starbucks, and Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan, JPM, among big names in town. Visits in recent months from the leaders of Apple, Samsung, Aramco, Volkswagen, HSBC, Standard Chartered and Kering. The real news for Wednesday 4th of October, 2023. The DOJ and FBI raided Mar-a-Lago so they could steal back evidence of their spying on President Trump in the Crossfire Hurricane documents. Then they indicted him for process crimes under the Espionage Act to cover their tracks and keep America distracted. It's all a cover-up. Someday we'll all learn oil isn't made from dinosaur fossils. It is naturally produced from within the earth, like the blood within our bodies. It is a renewable resource which can never run out. The scarcity tactics is used by the elite to promote them as fossil fuel, because allegedly being fossil fuels, it means that it has to run out, therefore keeping the prices high. In fact, there is almost as much underground oil as there is water here on Earth. The press wants you to think the only story in Washington is a fight amongst Republicans, but over the past 10 days, the Democrat chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee was charged with taking bribes from a foreign country. The D.C. Attorney General has sent subpoenas to Democrat dark money giant Arabella Advisors over possible illegal activity. A House Democrat stalled a House proceeding by pulling a fire alarm, a felony. Biden's envoy to Iran was outed as an Iranian spy. Gavin Newsom appointed a Marylander to be California's senator. Hunter Biden pleaded not guilty to a felony gun charge. Hunter was also caught listing his dad's home address as the beneficiary on a wire transfer from Communist China. A Democrat House member was carjacked thanks to an explosion of predatory criminal behavior sparked by Democrats' pro-crime policies. Oh, and Joe Biden is still an utter disaster of a president, too, David Wilcock. And Biden impeachment. House Republicans have recently unveiled over 24 pieces of information implicating Joe Biden in Hunter's international bribery investigation.